Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Space Engineers. I'm gonna do a bit of survival today. Basically, I've been watching a few videos on people starting a survival and stuff, and no one really does it that well. Like, I saw a guy the other day and he's putting wheels on the wrong way around, and I thought, why not make some videos to show people, an easier way of doing it if they want to. So let's make a new world. I used to play this game quite a bit actually back when it was sort of early alpha, and I have taken quite a big break since then because it just gets boring, when you could just build square things in space, and there wasn't even Windows back then. It was pretty rough as far as games go. But obviously, time has moved on since then, and we've got planets now. So I hopped on a few weeks ago, booted up on planets, and my god, there is so much amazing and new stuff to play with. So I've played hours and hours of it since then. Kind of got my eye back into it. So I thought, why not do a survival series? Everyone else is doing it, So I'm gonna assume basically that either you haven't played it, or you've only played it a bit, or you've only played creative or whatever. And so I'll be explaining some of the sort of features and stuff as I go through it. But there'll probably be stuff you already know if you've played it, but I'm sure there'll be stuff you can pick up that you haven't seen before. I'm going to turn autosave off. I've had a number of occasions where I've built spent hours and hours building a ship, and then crashed it for some reason or whatever, and then the autosave immediately saves just as I crash, which is absolutely heartbreaking. So I just play with it off now. It is risky business. If you forget to save, then you can lose hours of work, and I have also done that before. I can't really win with this game, to be honest, but I prefer it off. Just it gives me a bit more control. I won't really explain what I'm doing here. I've just put everything up to full because it's easier for demonstration purposes. I think the day's too long at 2 hours, so I'll just take it down to 1. A new update put in these Cyberhounds, which I had to play with them, and I just can't see the point, to be quite honest. Like, they're basically the space engineers equivalent of the creepers in Minecraft. They just mindlessly blow up and destroy all the stuff you've been building. In early survival, they are ridiculously unbalanced. Like, you have to build your base on stilts, and there's just no way really that they're balanced at the moment. And I think it's going to take a bit of work on the developer's side to get those to a point where they're actually useful. I'm going to put a couple of mods in as well, because the game's okay vanilla. It's got everything you need, but I do prefer some of the modded things just for either aesthetics or better functionality, really. So there's thousands and thousands of mods at the moment that you can spend days looking through the workshop. But if you want, I'll put these mods up in the description, and I don't know, in a mod pack or something. You can have a flick through them and see if there's anything you fancy. Some of that, one of those, and that will do, I think. So let's do it. Right. So, by starting just on survival on a star system, you just get given a ship, and you've got to land the ship, and that's it. That's your starting point. 90% of the time, I'm unlucky. I spawn on the dark side of the planet, and then it's a guessing game, really, trying to land the thing. I've smashed a good many ships doing that. Maybe we'll be lucky today. Maybe not. Let's find out. Okay. Ooh, this all looks pretty light. That is promising. Okay. So I actually got one of my friends into Space Engineers quite recently, and I took a bit of persuasion because he said to me he'd actually downloaded the game and he had it already, but he didn't want to play it because he'd seen the screenshots of the HUD and all the different menus and buttons and stuff, and he said that it was just way too complicated. And I can sort of like, back when Space Engineers started, it was just, you know, these things you see on the screen right now are the fraction of the size as like 2 readouts on each one. And it has grown quite unwieldy since then. I think they probably could do with a UI overhaul, to be honest, to make it a bit more user friendly. But I'll be honest with you, most of the stuff that you see on the screen you don't use, or you only use in certain times. You know, it's not like you're constantly monitoring all of this stuff. I won't really go through it because it's pretty self-explanatory. The only things that are sort of worth noting, I suppose, is if you look in the bottom left, there's oxygen and hydrogen, and you can see that my oxygen's actually going down at the moment, and that's because I've got my helmet on. So even though this ship is pressurised and there is oxygen inside it, because I've got my helmet on, it's just using the oxygen from my suit, basically. I could take it off, but I need to get out of my seat to do that, and if I do that, I will probably die. Hydrogen is going to be very important because that's what powers your jetpack, and without your jetpack, it becomes very difficult to do anything really. So what we're going to aim for is, if I can spot one, I'm looking for a lake. It's not looking particularly good, actually. No, I'm going to have to fly about and find a lake, because ice is your main source, or your only source, of oxygen and hydrogen. Without it, it's going to get pretty difficult very quickly. That looks kind of icy over there, so I might fly over there. It seems to be a bit of a desert. Oh, yeah, that is the desert, so I'm not gonna land over here. I'll probably cut out and rejoin you when I found a lake. Oh no. Welcome back. If you just look over there in my crosshairs, that appears to be a lake. Yeah, I'm using Shadowplay to record this, and because you've got to press Alt-9, F9, to turn the recording back on, it puts you in spectator mode, which isn't fantastic, but there we go. So, now I found some ice. I'm gonna go and probably land on it, actually. Let's see, how fast am I going? 9, okay, we'll slow down a little bit. Right, while I'm doing this, if you look down onto the ice, see those little dark patches? They actually signify that there is ore underneath the surface, and that holds true for every surface on every planet in the solar system. So even on the moon, on Earth, in the desert, on Mars, whatever, if you see a dark patch, there's ore underneath it. And more often than not, there's more than one ore, and the more you sort of dig for stuff and you look at it, you'll start to realise that there's patterns. So if there's gold, then there's probably going to be silver as well. If it's iron, there'll be cobalt and nickel probably. You notice these patterns, so it's quite a good way of finding ore. I might actually go and land near that ore patch because that's going to be useful for us. Before I do that, the mistake I made earlier, turning my landing gear off auto lock, because the second you land, your ship just locks to the floor and it looks ridiculous because it doesn't actually land straight down most of the time. So you can see there nickel showing up, so I'm pretty confident. Oh, there's magnesium, there's probably going to be silicon there as well. Beautiful. So I should press 2 on my hotkey and that locks my landing gear into place, and we are landed. So now becomes the enjoyable task of turning off everything that you don't need. So all the stuff that's related to flight, you turn it off. Your lights, turn them off. Thrusters, turn them off. Obviously panels, don't need those. Basically what I'm doing is I'm saving power, because if you look in the inventory, we've literally got 0.3 ingots of uranium, which is nothing basically. The second you start using your refinery and stuff like that, it's going to go immediately. So I'm just turning off all the stuff that's using power at the moment, just to eke a little bit more time out of that reactor. I think that is pretty much everything we need. So let's hop out. Welcome to my ship. These are the LCD panels I've turned off. So in your starting ship, really? I've got to turn that back on, because I've locked myself in. On, off. There we go. It's very dark in here. Right. What was I saying? Yeah, so in your starting ship, you've got everything you need to survive, basically. If you wanted to, you could just use the starting ship as your base, and it would function, What I prefer to do is to chop it all down and make my own base out of it, but I don't know, I might actually keep it today and use the sort of shell of it just to make our lives a bit easier. If you look in here, press K, you can see we've actually got 2 cargo containers already, and they've got a few tools, they've got steel plates which you need for pretty much everything, they've got a few of the basic essentials that you need to get started. The important things are the power cells and the solar cells. That's going to let you make solar panels, which is obviously going to be a lot more sustainable than the small amount of uranium that we've got at the moment. So what I'm going to do is hop onto the assembler. I'm actually going to put all of these tools into the assembler, because if you look over here, I've actually got them all already, so they're completely useless for me at the moment. And if I'm going to click disassembling, disassemble all of those, and that just gives us some extra resources. That's ammo, which, as I've turned the dogs off, you're not going to need that, and that gives you quite a lot of nickel, which is useful at this stage. Magnesium you literally just use for explosives, basically, like weapons and things, so it's very irrelevant. In your oxygen generator, you start off with 10k ice, which is quite nice if you don't happen to land on a giant ice field like I have. At the moment, it's it's not particularly useful. It saves you from buying it, I guess. And you also got 2 oxygen bottles and 2 hydrogen bottles. Now, the hydrogen bottles you're probably going to want in your inventory, because that's how you're going to repower your jetpack. The oxygen is unnecessary because we're on Earth. That was reminding me I need to take my helmet off or I'm going to suffocate. And that's pretty much all we start off with. So, what I'm going to do is cut down all of the unnecessary stuff. So you don't need like a rumble block, because I do use them later on. Timer block goes hand in hand with that. But at this stage, you don't need them. You don't need the LCD panels. Use them if you want, but it's resources that are better spent elsewhere, really. Again, an air vent. We're on Earth, we've got air, we don't need it. Let's take that thing down. Should we take the flight seat? Yeah, why not? Let's take the flight seat down. So yeah, I'm just taking down all the stuff that we don't need. So gyroscope, you know, we're not flying this again anytime soon. So inventory's full. Put this stuff off. Let's not grind that down. Let's weld that back up quickly. Problem with batteries is that if you weld them down, grind them down rather, you see in the components it says power cells. If you grind those down, that's it, and you can't have them back again. They turn to scrap metal and they are useless. And they're difficult to make. You know, they take quite a lot of stuff. So you don't want to grind down your batteries right now. We don't need this door either. So as I say, I'm tearing down all the stuff that we're not going to use again anytime soon. You know, the engines, the gyroscope. It's all redundant. It's all materials that are better spent elsewhere. Better spent elsewhere. That happens when your inventory's full. So it just drops on the floor, which is really useful. I might actually move all this into one container just so I know what I've got. There we go. So, I'll probably grind some of this extraneous stuff down and I will be back with you in a minute. Oh, I just brought you back for a second because what I'm doing here is, as I said, I'm just grinding down the stuff we don't need. So I've taken out all these windows here. There's a window in here and it's gone now. I've taken off all the stuff at the bottom, so the ore detector, it's getting dark, I guess. The engines, all that kind of stuff. These big thrusters at the side, they've got so many components in there, fantastic. Best way of getting to them is cut out the window that's here. I'll do it on this side and I'll show you. So you cut out the window and then you can actually hop down onto this girder and then cut it up. Keep an eye on your, if you see in the bottom left corner it says the volume and it's gone red. 4000 is your max, so keep an eye on that because when you're cutting this up it will fill up your inventory before you've cut it down. So you want to go back and drop this stuff off really before you finish it off, or all that stuff that you've been cutting up will just fall on the floor. A mistake I've once made before is I thought, well, it'll make it easy if I just cut these interior pillars off and the engine will fall on the floor and I can cut it up on the floor. Doesn't work like that. You cut off the pillars, the engine falls on the floor, the engine blows up. Okay, I've just, yeah. There's no point even saying anything about that. So yeah, you know, you need to cut it up when it's on the girder or you will regret it. I blew up a whole engine doing that, and the amount of components that you lose from that is ridiculous. It is heartbreaking.
Inventory full.
Yeah, see what I mean? Like, that's like three or four inventory loads of stuff just immediately blew to pieces. Right, what I'm going to do is take down these engines, take down that girder, and there's some stuff on the top I'm going to take down as well, but I'll bring it back after I've done that. Okay, so welcome back again. As you can see, I've cut the whole top of this thing off. I've left these things. Obviously, this is the reactor. Without this, we would be screwed. I also left this little tower here because if I remember rightly, the battery's actually attached to that block. So if you cut that off, the battery falls off. Take this off though. Oh, not cut that off. There we go. So what I've done is I've basically just filled my inventory with a ridiculous amount of components, and we've got a nice basis now to start off making this actually into a sustainable base. Oh, that's different. That wasn't there a minute ago. Oh, there's one over there as well. I really hope that is not an actual hole. Let's go find out. I'm going to save this because I know I'm going to regret this. Is it a hole? No, it's not a hole. Huh. Okay. Is that so? Is that moving? Can't tell. That is the sun, and it's going that way. So, okay, that's actually helped me a little bit for the next part of what I was going to show you. But now we know the sun's going to come up that sort of direction, probably. So yeah, the next priority for me is to get the power into a sustainable state. So that means building some solar panels. We've got loads of batteries, so I'm not worried about those at the moment. We need solar cells, some of those. That. Okay, so I think the sun's going to come up over there somewhere, so I'm going to start whacking on these solar panels. Now, I've had a bit of an experiment with putting these flat and putting them straight up, and I can't really decide what's best. I think straight up's probably better because that way you're getting the sunrise and the sunset, and they actually start charging up before the sun's even hitting them. Like, even if there's a mountain in the way, for some reason the sun seems to get through it to the solar panels. So my kind of reasoning is that you've got more of the day kind of putting sunlight onto your solar panels, but I don't really know, to be honest. So I'm going to stick them over here. Shall I make another thing for this? No, I'm going to stick them over here in the hope that that's put them in the right place. Alright, I'm gonna whack a bunch of those on, and once again I'll come back to you when I've done it. Okay, welcome back again. So I've made 5 solar panels. I think it might actually be 43. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There is enough resources for 6. So what I might actually do is put one flat on here in the hope that it will get some sun at midday. I guess that covers our bases quite nicely there. I need some solar panels. I need some of those. So yeah, so we've cut everything up. We've taken all the unnecessary stuff off the ship. We've got all the stuff that we still need in here. We've got a nice sort of open sort of place up here to stand, and we've got our solar panels set up, so when the sun comes up, hopefully that'll start charging up the batteries if I've put them in the right orientation, which I may not have, but we'll see. What is that like? Is that me? That is me. So yeah, I think we're going to leave it here for today. This is probably a good place to stop before we get into the other stuff. I'm not sure what we'll do next time. We'll probably start making a mining vehicle, because that's going to be our next most important thing to do to get some... okay. Yeah, let's get some ores together and start refining them up, and that'll put us in better stead for building things down the line. So, thank you for watching. If if you like the video, obviously hit subscribe and hit like. This has actually been my first sort of serious foray to YouTube, so any criticism or comments, suggestions is all welcome. You know, if the sound's not right, or if you're not happy with the pacing, or if you think I'm saying something too much or something, just let me know, and I'll definitely incorporate that into my next video. Or suggestions as well. You know, if you wanted me to see me sort of build something, or you want some certain mods or whatever in here, then yeah, you know, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.